So this meal today that I'm going to be doing is got a fair bit of stuff in it really. It's got garlic, ginger, which are there, garlic, ginger, chicken, which is boneless thighs, about £1 worth. It's got soy sauce, fish sauce. You don't need the fish sauce, it's optional. Then there's bean sprouts, 200 grams, there's pak choi, there's spring onions, there's mushrooms, there's coriander. Don't need those, don't need the onion and the carrots. Although I've got them now because I might just add them in, I'll think about that. Okay, that's the basic recipe then. And this is a low carb meal. So if you want to lose weight by removing carbohydrates, you can do that. But what I've done, I'm using borlotti beans to add weight to the meal, but they won't have any bread with it. And I forgot a red chilli, 1 or 2 of those, depending on your taste buds. Right, and I'm going to come back once I've chopped everything up. Then we'll start frying. The recipe below the video. I'm just going to slice the thighs, but what I do is I press them flat a bit, and then I cut them in slices. What I think are thin slices anyway, and try and make them all roughly the same size so they'll cook at the same speed. So I'll come back to you because I'm running out of power. I do a bit more cutting. I like this bit. This is one of these chopper things which I quite like. There's ginger, garlic and chilies. Now I only say 3 pods of garlic in the recipe, and the ginger I'll only say something like 1 inch, but I like a lot of it, so I've just upped the ante. But you know what you like to try. So, there you go. How good that is. And very therapeutic. That. That's it. So that's the garlic ginger. Now I've decided I'm not putting this in the recipe because it's not part of the recipe, but I've added it. I'll put it down as optional if you like. But I'm going to fry this with some carrots, which I've decided to use up because the things in the fridge you can't throw away really. So I've got those carrots, they're going to be used, and I'll fry them with that. Okay, I'll do a bit more. Right, there's pak choi mushrooms in there. That's from celery. It's not part of the recipe, but I've got to use up from the fridge, so I'll put it as an optional. There's carrot and chili and garlic and ginger in there, which of course is not part. The carrot's not part of it, but I'm going to add it as optional because I want to use it up. There's spring onions there, sliced there. There's chicken stock that's going to go in that in due course. Say a pint, 450 litres or something like that. I don't recall it now. About a pint anyway. I'm just boiling, and 200 grams of bean sprouts, which is half a packet. And I've rinsed off the borlotti beans, which is again not part of the recipe, but I think we wanted to add a bit of weight to the meal. But that does make it not so much a low carb meal, but beans are good for you in many other ways. So I've started the soy sauce. There's a tablespoon of that, a tablespoon of fish sauce. I did think about some chili bean sauce as well, but you know, you can try that yourself, can't you, really? Okay, let's go over here now to the stove. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I think you see that. I'll come back. I like the oil to get to about stir-fry temperature, which is about, put your hand above it, about 8, count of 8, and it gets hot. then that's when I think it's right to start stir frying. Sometimes when I'm doing fast stir frying, it would be 7 or 6, but I think I'm going to do it a bit slower, so about 8 to 9, and I'll try and do it. If you do it too fast with the chili and garlic, for instance, it'll just go black. So I'm going to start with the chili and garlic and the carrots, and I'll do that, say about a count of about 9 or 10. So just be enough to sizzle it. And of course, temperature will reduce when I put the meat in, chicken as well. So round about that. I mean, it's hard to say. Right. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's about a medium heat. So we'll try this. So there we go. Stir around. What's left in the pot, not the way I just did it, I just spread it all over the cooker. And there, fry, and also I forgot to put in, I should be 2 stalks of lemongrass, but yours truly has only got 1 stalk of lemongrass. It should be fresh, and that's ex-frozen, so about a minute of this to fry it. I'll give it a bit longer than a minute because I've got the carrot in there, so it's going to reduce the heat a little bit, so I won't do that. I want to get back up to medium heat again. The chicken, of course, like most chicken nowadays, you start to fry it and you end up braising it, and I suspect this is going to be no different. Anyway, the answer to try and avoid that is to put small pieces in at a time, small hands at a time. We'll try that and see if it works. Anyway, it'd be nice for you to watch this. This is low battery, so I better stop for a minute. Pleased to report that I did it like I said, small bits, small handfuls of chicken rather than all at once, and so far it looks like it's browning without braising. The water's not coming out quickly, but of course I could be speaking too soon. In 10 minutes from now it could be it's braising. But anyway, I need to get this chicken brown, so I've got to keep stir frying until it's brown. So I reckon that's about 5 to 6 minutes, maybe longer. Well, some of it's not quite as thin as I'd like, but anyway, now it's beginning to braise like I was hoping it wouldn't. But anyway, it's starting to do that now. Now, a little bit of pepper and salt. I'm going to do this. I forgot to get it out. A little bit of salt. Don't need much because we've got it we've got stock, so just a teaspoon there. You can add more if you need it later. And black pepper, I've got a little grinder which I'll get out in a moment. Can I have the grinder? Okay, adding some pepper. Do you know, there's no reason why you should add whole peppercorns to this. About 3 or 4 with that lovely flavour to it. Anyway, there's the pepper, black pepper, mixed pepper. Now, I've just suddenly realised that if I plug my phone extension into something here, I should, I don't know if it's charging it or not. Maybe not. Anyway, So that's that there. Right, now I'm going to add the celery which I had, because a little bit of crunch will be nice. Because I'll cook it down a bit. And I'm going to add now the premium soy sauce. So there's dark soy sauce, but any soy sauce will do. I like dark. Anyway, so that's going to be a tablespoon of the shade. Then there's a fish sauce, which again is a tablespoon. That's fish sauce. And then I've got to add the stock, which I'm just about to add now. So I've got the stock now, which is a stock, one of those stock soft ones. Give that a big stir around a bit. Smells alright. Got soy sauce, mine. Anyway, that's in there. Get the chicken stock stirred. I think really it's 450ml. One of those things. Anyway, I haven't got anything else that has to do. So that goes in. That's that. And now I've got to add the mushrooms and pak choi. Which will of course cook down. I may add a bit of water, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. And then the only thing I've got to do then is spring onions and bean sprouts and the beans. But this, I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes, I think. Push it down. See if we've got enough liquid. May have to add a bit more. I haven't got a chicken stock cube, so it'll have to just be water or a vegetable stock cube. I think I may have to use a vegetable stock cube, the wife says. So you've got to do what you're told, so a vegetable stock cube. I'll add to it, and I'm going to cover this up now and come back to you in a minute. The reason I'm adding more stock, of course, is obvious, because I added carrots and celery, which are not part of the main menu. So this is a soup, so just add a bit more to it. And now I've got to add spring onions. Which can be in there. And also I'm adding a little bit, half a very finely chopped red chilli, raw. Hopefully that'll just spread through it. I might add the rest of it actually. Give it a bit of a bite. And then finally, I'm going to add bean sprouts, about 200 grams, which is about half this packet of 400 grams. God, so clever to work that one out. Right. That's it. I am going to add A little bit of the second chilli finely chopped. Add little bits of bite whilst you're going through it. So put them in there, just a bit of that. Right. Okay. There's one more thing to do at the end though. And I'm going to put the, I've got this, so this is the recipe, which is more than enough really. But rather like a wally, I've opened a tin of beans, which I wouldn't have done normally. So, I'm afraid they're going to have to go in. But I don't think this is necessary. I'm going to leave them out the main recipe. These are cannelli beans, or any beans will do. It's quite looks good. It looks tasty. Right. It's more of a broth than a soup though. But of course if I didn't add the carrots and the celery and the beans, it would be more of a soup, which is a recipe. The final thing of course is a handful of coriander. Which I'm just chopping now. Right, there's the coriander. I'll give it 2 or 3 minutes to let it get all nicely mixed, and I think that's ready then. By the time I serve the table, it'll be ready to eat. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen, a low carb chicken, Asian style chicken broth or stew. And if you leave out the beans, and if you leave out the celery, and you leave out the carrot, you'd have the original recipe. But of course, none of us keep to recipes, do we? That looks lovely. All right, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. There we are.